We all know the standard rules for getting ready for bed. Put the phone away, skip the late afternoon espresso, and wind down. But once you actually pull the covers up, your physical environment takes over. When you're staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., it's easy to assume the only fix is swiping your credit card for a $2,000 smart mattress. Sleep optimization is an engineering problem that requires the precise balancing of structural support for your spine and thermal regulation for your skin. Figuring out which interventions actually work means weighing the financial cost of a purchase against the behavioral discipline of a habit to find the true return on investment. This chart maps out those exact trade-offs. We plot financial and behavioral cost across the bottom and impact on sleep quality up the side. The best-case scenario sits in the top left corner, interventions costing almost nothing that drastically improve your deep sleep. Achieving that target requires looking past marketing hype to identify which specific habits and materials mathematically align with how your body is actually built. The most direct route to that top left corner is posture. Changing how you sleep requires intense behavioral discipline, but $0. Training yourself to sleep in the fetal position, curled up on your side, physically opens your airways to reduce snoring while keeping your spine in a neutral alignment. The cost is the effort of breaking a lifetime habit. You also have to consciously position a large, firm pillow to bridge the gap between your ear and your shoulder to prevent neck strain. If you shift to your back, you can maintain the natural curve of your spine by simply placing a rolled-up towel under your knees. However, gravity works against you here. Lying flat increases the likelihood of snoring and can exacerbate sleep apnea by letting your tongue or soft tissues interrupt your breathing. Sleeping on your belly forces your neck to twist, creating constant strain. If you're locked into this position, use an extremely thin pillow, or remove it entirely to minimize the angle of that twist. There's also a purely psychological habit, making your bed. While providing no physical support, creating a clean, structured environment correlates with a better night's rest. These postural and routine changes offer massive payoffs, but they have high failure rates because they demand strict daily discipline to maintain. Your environment dictates the depth of your REM sleep, specifically how you manage sound and temperature. Running a fan or an app to create constant white noise generates an auditory hum. This masks the inconsistent, disruptive frequencies that wake you up, like street traffic or slamming doors. The downside is dependency. Once your brain expects that hum, trying to sleep in a silent room while traveling becomes surprisingly difficult. When it comes to temperature, the idea that a 1,000 thread count sheet guarantees a better night is a total marketing myth. This comparison table shows why. A 1,000 thread count weave is extremely tight, trapping your body heat and moisture. A lower count, between 200 and 400, physically allows air to flow through the fabric. You sacrifice the silky, heavy feel of luxury sheets, but you achieve far superior body cooling. You can enhance that breathability by washing your sheets weekly and skipping the fabric softener. This strips away the oils and sweat that clog the fabric, extending its natural airflow. To drop your core temperature even further, sleep naked. Lowering your body heat is the physical trigger that pushes you into longer, deeper sleep cycles. You lose the comforting tactile pressure of clothes, and in the winter, you have to manually compensate by stacking warmer blankets. Thermal and sensory hacks hit the sweet spot of optimization. They are effective, require only moderate lifestyle adjustments, and cost almost nothing. If you prefer to bypass behavioral changes entirely, you look at foundation upgrades. These are designed to solve sleep problems purely through financial investment. A memory foam mattress physically molds to the exact contours of your body. This provides pressure relief if you suffer from joint or muscle pain. But memory foam comes with severe thermal and chemical trade-offs. Because the foam is incredibly dense, it acts like a sponge, absorbing your thermal energy and expanding, trapping heat against your skin all night. High-end air mattresses solve the heat problem using adjustable air chambers. You and your partner can completely customize the firmness independently on each side of the bed. The trade-off is an exceptionally high financial barrier, plus the introduction of mechanical pumps and electronic failure points into a piece of everyday furniture. Standard inner spring mattresses are often sold on coil count, but 1,000 weak springs won't support you as well as 300 sturdy ones. The gauge and sturdiness of the metal determine the support more than the sheer volume of coils. Throwing money at foundation upgrades requires zero behavioral discipline, but it introduces significant thermal compromises and mechanical risks that can inadvertently make your sleep worse. We can now map every one of these interventions back onto our initial framework to calculate their true return on investment. Looking at this chart, you see exactly how purchases and habits scatter across the 4 quadrants based on cost and effectiveness. The absolute highest return sits in the top left: weekly sheet washing, white noise, and sleeping on your side. If you want to optimize your budget, implement these 3 behavioral shifts before you ever consider shopping for a new mattress. For the vast majority of people, maximizing sleep efficiency is an exercise in strategic behavioral adjustment, not a financial milestone. Of course, behavioral adjustments alone can't override specific physiological hurdles. Sometimes you need a targeted purchasing strategy. This scorecard breaks down the exact directives for different sleeper profiles. If you are a hot sleeper, avoid memory foam entirely. Stick to sheets under a 400 thread count, and drop your core temperature by sleeping naked. If you are an achy sleeper dealing with pain, invest in memory foam and use firm pillows to bridge the structural gaps between your ear and shoulder. The ultimate sleep environment relies on a precise mathematical calibration to your unique physical structure and your exact thermal baseline.